Yo.
Yo, what's up, y'all? It's Eddie Johnson here. We back with Michel'le. Michel'le, what's up?
What's going on, Yo, the podcast?
we laughing because I don't know if y'all can tell. She eating right now.
Listen, family matters.
Right. We got the whole family in the studio, in the mobile studio today. Say what's up, everyone. One easy.
Hi.
And the baby's sleeping, so.
Right.
But this is going to be a good one, so without further ado, let's go. Yep.
All right.
So, how are we going to start it? You want to start off first, or you want me to?
Yeah, you can start it.
Okay. So, as you guys know, we have the new baby in the back. She's a couple months old now, and just the journey to her being here now has been really exciting in a lot of different ways. So we actually were pregnant prior to her, and we had a doctor that I wasn't allowed to be in the appointments because of COVID, all that stuff. And to me, to both of us, because who wants to, what woman wants to have to sit through appointments alone when she doesn't have to? And what man wants to not be a part of it when he wants to be a part of it? So during the appointments, I had to sit in the car and wait for however long it was, an hour, or however long it would be, just, anticipating what the news would be when she would come back. And so that right there was unsettling for both of us, and we didn't really appreciate it too much. But we're like, okay, this is the doctor that we have, and we know God is good, so we're just gonna have to go with it. It'll be okay. Once the baby's here, all that'll be gone, whatever. So one of the appointments, I don't remember which one it was, but it was early on. Early on, one of the appointments, she goes in, and I think if I remember correctly, she sent me a text saying, the doctor says that she can't find the heartbeat. And I'm like, what? So, we kind of was all over the place with that one. But we're like, nah, we trust the Lord. We just have to, get a second opinion, because she didn't make, I guess, didn't have that homey feeling. I don't know if that's the right term, but she didn't make us feel like really warm and comfortable in there. It was just like we were another number, just another pregnant woman coming in. It's business, at the end of the day. And, it didn't feel like, I don't know, it just didn't feel very personable with this doctor. And so after getting that news that we couldn't find the heartbeat, Michelle's aunt is a ultrasound tech, right? And so we're like, let's reach out to her and see if we can, get like, this is someone that knows us and that will take care of us. So we're like, let's go to her and have everything done. So we set up a day to go meet up with her, and thank God for her. She allowed us to come in before business hours and check us out, so we're in there alone. And again, she checks her, and she's in there, I don't mean to say it like that, but she's checking for a few minutes, and she's like, I don't see anything. You're measuring, what was it, about maybe 6 weeks, and by that time we kept
hearing that, like, you're measuring between 5 and 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
So we kind of knew that something was wrong, because at this point we were like, well, we supposed to be like 8 weeks now, so something is not right. So we went to my aunt's job, and she, the same thing. She didn't detect anything because, of course, as we just didn't want to believe it. We didn't want to believe that there was no heartbeat. We just wanted we actually was coming up with a whole bunch of things. Well, I'm like, well, maybe her equipment at the first doctor, maybe it was old.
Yeah.
We were just coming up with many excuses as to, just not believing that there was no heartbeat at this point. So she just was like, if I was you, I would go to the hospital. Like, she was like, go to the hospital like today, like right now. And I believe my sister Tracy also told me the same thing. She was like, go to the hospital. So I went to the hospital. I let them know that I wasn't at this point, like, I wasn't having any cramping, no bleeding, no spotting, no nothing. And so again, I'm just thinking that, nothing's wrong. But we end up going to the hospital, and sure enough, they confirmed it again. So at this point, we received like 3 confirmations, but then we end up finding another doctor because because at the same time we still had our faith, mm-hmm. and we still believed that God could resurrect, right? So we knew that He can do amazing things, and we're just like, all right, we don't want to believe this, like. So we would pray. We would like,
mm-hmm.
we at this point we started like really working out, eating good. We were like trying to like do all these different things because we really thought that this is what God, did for us. We thought that this was it. This was, gonna be our child,
mm-hmm.
right? So now after the hospital visit, we comes to this new doctor, and he pretty much was like, he confirmed it. He confirmed the same thing. He said that.
Turn that way.
What? Not like that. So he confirmed it that we were pretty much, our child was gone. So we had a miscarriage.
Wait. Well, before that, before we even get to the first appointment,
okay,
we were on the way to the doctor, and it wasn't, okay, so it was like approaching like, the holiday season, but not yet. It wasn't like Christmas time yet, but soon to be, right? So we're driving, and I'll never forget it for as long as I live. There's a big sign that says hope. It's huge, like you can't miss it. It's humongous. And it says hope. It's lit up, there's lights on and everything, and they had just put it up that day. I think they were just finishing up as we were riding past. And so we like, maybe that's another sign that God is gonna, He's telling us to have hope that everything is gonna be fine. We're finally gonna be at a good doctor, and they're gonna give us news that, oh no, we feed a baby, everything is fine,
yeah.
blah blah blah, right? So we just, we kind of,
we had hope.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the thing. Sometimes with God, you have hope in one situation, but it's not what you think. It's something else, and like we just have to trust God through the process and know that our plan, His plan, is not our plans. Like
Right.
So we just have to have hope in Him and allow Him to pretty much work and maneuver the situation, whether it's going to be that one or a situation to come, or in the future, whatever the case is.
Right.
So yeah.
So we get in there, and like you said, he did confirm that there was no heartbeat. I think he said you're measuring at 5-6 weeks, and at this time it should have been like maybe 9 weeks or something like that. So we like, yeah, okay. It is what it is. We know, like, everything happens for a reason. Everything is going to eventually, at the end of the day, it'll all bring glory to God at the end of the day. Even though we can't understand it, we're obviously disappointed, upset, discouraged, all those things. But we know that, again, we have to refer back to the word. You go back to scripture and, just knowing what God says. The one story that comes to my mind, even though it's a little different, but with Abraham and Isaac, when God told him to sacrifice his child, his only son, even though God promised him that he would be a father of many nations, and that Isaac was the child that would allow for that promise to fulfill. And so Abraham's like, okay, well, he must gonna raise him from the dead because I believe this promise. So that was our frame of thinking, to have that type of faith. Like God said this, we know that God has given us this. God wouldn't give us this gift and take it away for no reason.
Yeah, and then we just we were like, listen, if this is the God that turned water into wine, he's the God that split the Red Sea, he's the God that moved mountains, and we just were like, if he can do this, he resurrected Jesus Christ. He can do all things. Right. I'm telling you, you could not tell us that this child was gone. You couldn't tell us, especially because of our faith and how grounded we are in our faith. And I'll be a fool. I always say I'll be a fool to stop believing in him now because of everything that he's brought me through and brought me to. Right. So now this is around, okay, so we got married in September 3rd, which our anniversary just passed. Shout out to 1 year for us, But so we went to Arizona, and during our trip to Arizona, because the doctor had asked us, he said, do you want to have surgery? He gave us 3 options. Surgery, which is considered like a DNC, or he said a pill, which would pretty much bring the baby out. This, when he started explaining this to us, that's when I knew this is real. I'm about to have a miscarriage. I've never experienced anything like this. I've never had a miscarriage. So it was just something that I was like, oh my gosh, there's going to be something that's going to actually come out of me. It was just, it really, really hit me when he started giving me my options of what I wanted to do. So I decided to not do anything. I was like, I want to do it natural. I want to let it come out natural. However it comes out, that's how I just wanted to be a natural thing. We had our Arizona trip already booked, so we were actually on our way to on vacation to celebrate our honeymoon. And I just remember, still at this time, remember, we were trusting in God, but also, putting our faith into work by eating well, working out, and doing all that stuff, drinking shakes every morning. So who knew that would be, we would need that, step for this step, which is how the baby, everything just came out all naturally. When we went back, he had asked, he said, did you go for surgery? And I was like, no. And he was like, wow. He's like, you're cleared out. He was like, everything is out of you. He's like, you guys can start, right away. Right.
And I'm like, where do you know?
You're funny. So, mind you, this is something that, Eddie and I, this is what we wanted. We wanted to make sure that we were married first, but we knew we wanted a family. We knew that we wanted, to have a child, right away. I'm 30, he's 40. Wow. So no, he's about to be 30. Right. He's about to be 30. So it was just like, let's ride it away. Got a cougar, yeah. So we end up, in Arizona, everything coming out, whatever, everything was cleared out.
It was almost like a fresh start, going away like that.
Yeah.
To, another coast, just a whole different
Only God can orchestrate something like that, because that even brought us closer together. To know that we've experienced this together, it truly brought us closer together and closer to God, because we was just like, Lord, like, we trust you regardless. And that's the thing about being content, when you're like, you know, whether you're up or down, whether you have or you have not, your faith is grounded and you rooted. You know, you have that foundation that can't be shaken or moved by your circumstances. And that's what, you know, we realized during this time, is like, listen, we lost this, but we really gained this. You know, we gained our closeness, our commitment towards one another, our relation, everything. It was just a much stronger bond between us by experiencing this. And Eddie he was just so, you know, he was just so awesome. Like, the whole time, like, he was just like, he put himself in my shoes, I would say, and like, he carried those burdens with me, and I really, really appreciate you for that, baby.
Yeah, of course.
So, now what ends up happening?
So
we took the doctor's advice.
Yeah, you know, and then I just want to, you know, also say that it was definitely a tough thing, a tough pill to swallow, because now, you know, it's in our minds where, man, we about to have this child and this, that, and the other, and then this curveball happens. And so we on, you know, social media, not even just social media, but just going around and walking around and seeing just all the different couples with their, you know, with their newborns and stuff like that. And we're just like, as me, I know she was too, but I was just like, man, yo, like, that would have been us, you know. And you know, you get a little discouraged, you get sad with that, but then you know, we're like, Lord, your will be done. You know, we know that you'll bless us at your perfect time. You know, so we can't, you know, we don't want to rush anything. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves, because again, we know that your timing is perfect and all is well. You know, so. And then to like just touch base on that, it's just like, you know, just because we believe, just because we Christians, that does not mean that we're not going to be sad. We're not going to have doubt. We're not going to be discouraged. Like, all of these things did come into our minds, but it was like, and I have to give Eddie credit for that as well, is that he would be the one, like, that would turn us right back into the Word and right back to God. And that's what, you know, it truly is amazing and a blessing to have someone that, you know, knows God and trusts God, because when one lacks, the other is there to pick them right back up. And that is pretty much where, you know, what it looked like in the situation that we were in. Because even days when he, you know, he would look down and I'm like, babe, are you okay? You know, yeah, I'm okay. And then I'm like, let's read or let's pray, you know. And that's what gave us that hope that we truly need during this time. So with that, you know, and then us having the okay from us having that okay from, you know, from our doctor, we're like, okay, you know, let's try again. And we tried again. And it was like maybe a month, no, yeah, I guess you say like a month later, like 4 years. Yeah, about a month later, we're going food shopping. And, you know, they say you're not supposed to go food shopping on an empty stomach, because then you're just going to get crazy and get everything, right? And so we in there, and she's like, well, I want to make this. Oh, yeah, this looks good, too. And I'm like, okay, we hungry, but this ain't normal. So I'm looking at her up and down like, you all right? And she's like, yeah, I'm fine. You know, I'm fine. I'm like, I don't know, man. You might be pregnant. She's like, nah. So, right. I'm like, no way. Like, this is way too soon. Right. You know, I'm like, you know, they said that after you stop, you know, bleeding, they said that you are supposed to get your period first, and then you can get pregnant. But like, that's not even what happened in my case. It was just like right away. It was so freaking fast. So go ahead. I'm sorry. Yeah, no. So that happens, and then I think we must have just been like, you know, let's go get some tests and just, you know, be sure, right? So this particular I think she took a test and it came back negative. So we're like, okay, whatever.
That means that the HCG levels that was in that from my first pregnancy, that it had came down, that it was out,
right?
Because that's what the HCG levels pretty much measures
whether you're pregnant
or not. And if they're high, that means you're pregnant. And if they keep going up, that's why they take your blood work when you go into those, because it makes sure that it's going up. And if it drops or goes down, then there's a problem.
Right.
And that's another thing that was going on with me too with the first pregnancy.
Right. So whatever. That was.
So we went and got our blood work, right? After you said that, we took a test, but they said if you take the test and it comes back positive, and that's what the doctor told us. The doctor was like, oh, I'm like, well, my test came back positive. This was after it came back negative. And then she was like, oh,
right. No, that's you're right. You're exactly
she said,
right,
oh, it could be the HCG.
She was like, oh, you need to come in right away, because I guess they didn't realize that the miscarriage had taken place. So we're like, well, okay, well, we're gonna come in and but I think you told her, no, I did have a miscarriage.
Yeah, I had him because she was like, oh, your HCG levels has dropped, you need to come in. And I'm like, no, we had a miscarriage. And she's like, oh, okay. And then I was like, so I don't know, you just messed me up now. My bad. So boom, we get the HCG levels. They were gone. Well, yeah, they were dropped. So then we went back, because I'm like, but my test came back positive. This was probably a week later. And then she was like, well, it's probably still the HCG levels. I'm like, but I took a pregnancy test before and it came back negative. Yeah. So, and she was like, all right, well, just come in. So again, I came in, took some blood work, and sure enough, I was pregnant.
Mm-hmm. And so.
But
before that, something happened though.
No. Remember, they checked the ultrasound. There was nothing there.
Yeah, right.
So
right.
they're like, wait, my HCG levels went up, but when they did the ultrasound vaginal, they were like, there's nothing here. So now we back discouraged. We're like, wait a minute, what's going on?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So I made an appointment for 2 weeks later. Mm-hmm. And I told the doctor when I came in, he was right at the front. I'm like, I don't know if they're telling you what's going on with my situation, but my HCG levels, they went back to normal. They dropped, but then they didn't find anything in me the last time I was here. He was like, what? If your HCG level went up, and he was just like, no, there should be something. And sure enough, he was like, let me do the ultrasound. He came in the room and did the ultrasound that day.
Right.
And sure enough, there was a little.
I think, what? Part of me thought that he didn't think that it was going to show up.
Right.
Really.
I think none, because it was 2 people that came in there. So,
because she remembered us. Yeah, remember the first ultrasound? She remembered us.
So I really thought they were just like, heck no, it's too soon. She can't be pregnant again. And he was like,
we seen that thing came up.
It was a heartbeat.
You could see the heartbeat, see everything, and man, that was like, yeah.
I was 6 weeks. So can you imagine? That's that means that we literally got pregnant
the week after the miscarriage.
Right, a week crazy. After our miscarriage, we got pregnant again. It was just so freaking crazy. But
the story gets better, actually.
Right.
I think it's over. So, we're going along with the pregnancy. Everything is beautiful. The baby's healthy. She's doing flips and flipping herself around. In the it was so cool.
And of course, during this time, it wasn't an easy pregnancy for me. Because my mental was just still back on what happened to me. So I'm constantly reminded. But Eddie, of course, is letting me know, no, this is it. God is gonna, bring us through this.
Because I remember that I had a dream that she was pregnant. I had 3 dreams. When things happen consecutively like that, it might have been it happened twice in a row, 2 nights in a row. Then the next night there was nothing, and then the night after it was solidified. I'm like, yeah, you're pregnant. Everything is fine. This was before it showed up on the ultrasound. So at that point, I'm like, no, this is good. This is what God has given us. This serves as another testimony, that we'll be able to share someday.
Right.
And this is that time.
Because can you imagine how many other women go through this, and they feel discouraged, and they're like, oh, it's just, this is not it. It means it's not it. I'm not gonna get pregnant. I'm not gonna have a kid. But no, like, this is proof in our situation that it can still happen. It can happen. You just got to have your faith, that strong faith that is like founded, that can't be moved. Like, it's just like, you're going to get discouraged, but your mind got to come right back to whoop.
Right.
Like,
but
no.
Who God is.
Right.
That's why you got to stay in the Word, honestly. Yeah. That's the only way, we could say all this stuff and it don't seem like it's anything, but really, when we're in the Word like that, we're given that that charge, that boost to, like, okay, we believe in the Lord, we believe in His Word, so we're going to take the Lord for for what He says.
Yep.
And as we continue, as we as the pregnancy goes on, again, everything is great. We're moving along. Then we finally told our families.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad was like, I had a dream that somebody was pregnant. I didn't know who. so this was just a beautiful thing for both of our families.
Yeah.
Right? And again, time goes on. So now we're nearing the end of the pregnancy. And so we had heard that this particular doctor had a thing for inducing his patients at 39 weeks. So if you don't go if you hit 39 weeks and the baby's still in, the baby's coming out. That's on his dime.
Yeah.
And so say something. Oh, and so
that was his procedure.
Yeah.
And to me, like, during this whole time, I was like working out. I'm eating good. I want to have an all natural birth, meaning like no epidural, no like anything. I had my ball ready. I wanted to have like a natural birth. That's what I was preparing for. I was stuck on YouTube reading different things, articles and stuff like that, and that's what I had planned. But when I remember telling him, like, oh, I think I'm not going to use epidural, he immediately discouraged me. And he was like, oh, that's hard. And one of the things that I read was, like, your doctor has to be on board with you. If you decide that you do want to not do epidural, your doctor has to, be on board. And I just remember immediately when I said that, I was like, oh, he's not on my side because this is what I want, but he is obviously telling me that I can't do it because it's painful. But this is our body. God created women to, give birth. Back in the biblical time, they didn't have epidural. They didn't have all these different man-made machines, or medicines. So I'm like, I want to do what God created me to do. So what ended up happening is sure enough, at 39 weeks, we went for our appointment, and he's like, he checked me. He said, yep, you're good. He was like, you're good to go. Your cervix is soft. You can meet me at the hospital. And I'm like, what you mean meet you at the hospital? Like, I'm like, I'm not in labor. Like, I told him just like that, I'm not in labor. And he was like, you are in labor. He was like, with your second child, you don't go into labor how other people normally go into labor. But that's not true because, again, like I said, I've read and, researched this stuff. So he's like, your water won't break or whatever, then blah, blah, blah. So we talked it over and so at that point I'm like, if the baby's fine, like, why can I just wait it out? Can I wait to 40 weeks, like, and then have the baby? And he was like, that my placenta looked old. It looked old. And that decreases oxygen to the baby's brain. He talked about
fecal matter being inside inside the womb, and if the baby gets to that, then that could do damage to the brain as well.
Yeah, we're gonna need resuscitation when the baby comes. He said so much that I was just so freaked out and scared by the whole thing that I was like, okay, like, if that's the case, listen, I want by any means necessary to have this healthy baby, and that we have seen has been healthy through all ultrasounds. Everything was good. So let's go and have this baby. So they were going to induce me. So we go home.
Yeah, we leave. As soon as we get into the parking lot, you're like, oh, let's call Karina. So Karina is my cousin. Shout out to Dr. Karina Oxford Horry. So I'm like, yeah, let's do that. So I text her and I'm like, hey, do you have a couple minutes to talk? And she calls me right away. And she's like, hey, what's going on? So, by the way, she is the director of the
New York Pest.
Yeah, labor and labor and delivery or whatever the thing's called at New York Presbyterian at Cornell.
Yeah.
So she's head honcho over there. She runs the show over there.
And we see why.
Right.
We know why.
Yeah. And so she's like, we explained to her what the doctor said, how we said the placenta looks old, and
and
all
she
these
was like,
things.
not to go against what your doctor is saying, but you can't tell the age of the placenta through an ultrasound. And then she was like, studies even showed that it doesn't have no connection with the oxygen and
with the health of the
baby. Overall. So, she just gave us some pointers. She was like, I don't really like how he's trying to force you, enforce fear on you to get this, to have this baby right away. I didn't know it was 114. So I didn't. So she was like, I don't know, but if you're gonna go and do this, do it because it's what you want to do. Don't think anything is gonna happen to your baby. Yeah. Nothing's gonna be wrong.
Don't let someone force you into doing it.
Yeah. But at the same time, this is our doctor. He knew our pregnancy the whole time. Right. We still decided to go with what he said, which is because at the same time, you got to imagine we 39 weeks. We ready to meet her. Right. We are excited to have the baby. So we're like, you know what? Let's just do what he said. Let's go. We trust God either way. Yeah. Let's just go and have this baby. Right. So we go home, pack our stuff. This is the day that it was a huge storm.
A crazy storm. Yeah.
Yeah, this storm knocked out mad power.
Yeah.
This was the storm in July. Mm-hmm. So it was really, really bad. And so what ended up happening is we're driving, the freaking wind is blowing the car. You couldn't see anything.
There was no visibility.
It was like the rain was coming down.
Right.
We should have known right then and there.
That was one of the signs of God saying, okay, hold on.
Right, just turn around.
Right. So we end up stopping to get food, and after that we went to go pick up son from camp. Mm-hmm. And so we just in there, and it's kind of slowed down. So we're like, all right, cool. We'll be able to get to the hospital. It'll be all right. So we go pick him up, we drop him off so we can go to the hospital. So as soon as we get there, I noticed right away, it's kind of dark in here.
And hot.
It's kind of hot in here too. So I'm like, well, you know what? She's the one that's going in labor, I can't say nothing, I have no right to complain. If she's okay, then I'm gonna have to thug it out and, go right along with it, right? So we go to check in, and they are like, oh yeah, give us the badges or the wristbands or whatever. And she's like, oh yeah, only one, she's like, no family can go up there. So we're like, obviously, this is COVID, all that, whatever. And then she's like, no, your husband can't even go up there either. And so Michelle's like, wait, he can't go up there. They're like, no, I'm sorry. This procedure, because we're in a crisis. All this nonsense that they were talking. And she's like, and this is why I love my wife. This is another reason why I love her. She's like, well, if he can't go up there, then we just not going to do this. We're going to go home.
Right, I was ready to turn right back around.
And them people was looking at her like she was crazy. Like, what are you doing?
Right.
So I'm like, yeah.
Mind you, I had my band on and everything.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, nope. Mm-hmm. So then what ended up happening is he had, she don't want it? Yeah. So what ended up happening is,
you go to the bathroom on the way out. And I'm just waiting, with all the stuff, all the bags or whatever. And she is like, the security guard who actually escorted us to the emergency room to sign in, he sees me and he's like, wait, I thought you guys were going up. I was like, yeah, but they talking about I can't go up there, so we just gonna go home. He's like, wait, hold on, that doesn't seem right. So then she comes out the bathroom and she says the same thing to him. He's like, you know what, I'm gonna double check for you guys, hold on a second. So he goes back and then he comes back. He's like, you know what? Follow me. I'll escort you to labor and delivery.
He said with some miscommunication, I'll escort you guys upstairs. Mm-hmm. So we at this point, we all right, well, whatever. Yeah. I guess this meant, it's meant to be. Mm-hmm. See, that's the thing too. It will be like God will show you one thing, and then the enemy will try to show you something, and it's like, all right, which one should you go with? But you just through the whole process, we were praying, we were trusting God, and we had Him on our mind. Right. So it ended up turning out to our favor. Right.
So we go up. We they're like, okay, well, go to the waiting area. We gotta wait for this. Yeah,
they were cleaning up a room, so they were like, oh, go sit in the waiting area. Right. So as we sitting in the waiting area, I'm bouncing on my ball.
Not before that though. As soon as we get in there, the power comes back on.
Came back
the AC
on.
comes on.
Yeah,
and
all that. So that's another thing. Yeah. We're like, oh yeah, all right. So God He's clearing the way for this. Yeah. This is what it's gonna be.
Yeah.
And then so I'm bouncing on my ball, getting my pelvis ready and everything like that. And
like an hour goes by,
right?
And I'm like, yo, you think they forgot about us? And he's like, I'm gonna call. So she calls, and they're like, oh yeah, we'll send somebody right away. 2 minutes later, they come
out and come
so
got us.
They definitely forgot.
They forgot about us. Right. So that was like a point for us to be out of there.
Yeah.
So we get in the room. The doctor comes in. She puts a gown on the bed, and I'm still bouncing on my ball. She's like, "It's great that you're bouncing on your ball. It's great that you're bouncing on the ball, but let me tell you how the doctor works. Like, it's pretty much."
Remember, you had mentioned to her that he said that placenta was old.
Yeah.
And she's like, no, he's old.
Yeah. She was like, because she had asked me, she was like, is there a reason why you're being induced? And I'm like, no. Like, Dr. such and such just said that my placenta looks old. And she was like, your placenta looks old. He's old. And then it went from then to like, all right, well, yeah, that's kind of his thing or whatever. But, so we get into the room. And she's like, it's good that you're bouncing on your ball, but let me tell you how things work. She pretty much said that we were going to get induced. And if I don't give birth in a certain period of time, that there was a big chance of me getting a C-section. She said that, they had to break my water. Everything that I didn't want, like I wanted my water to break naturally. I wanted everything to be as natural as possible, and everything that I was saying, she was saying that that's not how they worked. Yeah. So I was getting a little scared at the same time, but a little annoyed too, because I'm like, oh God, So.
But the woman, she really gave us a lot of, great advice. She was basically an advocate for going natural. She's like, I had 3 at-home births, and what you're doing, and I understand what you guys want to do, and we'll try to make it as comfortable as possible. But unfortunately, the doctor isn't always like that. Like, he does what he wants to do, basically.
Yeah. So, like, for instance, if my water wouldn't have broke after they tried to like physically induce me, his result would be to give me a C-section, because he's there and he's ready to deliver a baby. But yet I'm still, because I'm like, if my water didn't break and I need to be here for 3 days until I need to be in labor, then let me be in labor. But no, that's not how they work. So again, we were just like, oh God. She was like, well, you seem a little antsy or like unsure. So I'm going to leave you guys in here to talk. And she was like, I'll be back, and you guys let me know what you guys decide. So, of course, again, we are this close to meeting our daughter. So we're just like, yo, we just want to get this junk over with and have this baby. We just want to have her. Let's just, go ahead and do it. So, you know, she leaves us in the room, and we start talking, and I'm like, so what you want to do, babe? And he's like, whatever you want to do.
Yeah, because I'm just like, I want him, as long as you're comfortable, it ain't about me. It's about you and the baby at this point. So whatever you feel comfortable with, that's what we're going to do.
And I felt like, well, if...
She wanted me to make this decision.
Yeah, I wanted him to make the decision. I'm like, babe, just tell me. Just say yes or no.
Right.
Like,
so then we just
he would not say yes or no.
Right, because I'm like, to me, that's a big, that's a really big decision because, God forbid if something was to go wrong because of what I said, I wouldn't be able to live with myself, So we hug each other, we embrace, and we're just staring at each other. Mm-hmm. And then next thing you know, the lights go out. All the power shuts off.
It went black.
Yeah, totally black.
It went black.
Mm-hmm. And then it comes right back on. And we're like, what? We out of here. Let's
out.
Go.
That's it. Home. That was our confirmation. Yeah. That was our end confirmation.
That was God. That was God.
We should not be there.
Yep.
We not getting induced. We gonna at this point we like, yo, we gonna go. If it's 42 weeks, we just gonna go and we gonna have this baby at 42
it was
weeks.
God, that was all him.
Once them light, it went black, y'all. Like it went black.
Pitch black.
We didn't see each other no more, and then we just seen each other. We like, whoa, wait a minute. Just imagine like I'm giving birth and the lights and stuff go off. Like no, So we end up packing up our stuff and leaving. As we walking out, the nurse come and she's like, hey, where are you guys going? We like, we leaving.
Yeah, we
like,
just gonna go home.
Yeah,
we don't want to do this today. She's like, well, was it anything that we did? We're like, no.
Is there anything that I can say to convince you to stay? Right. Nah, we good. We out.
Mm-hmm. We're just like, it's a wrap. So we go back into the room for a second to talk to her. And we tell her, why we didn't really tell her why. We just say, we just don't feel comfortable doing this. This wasn't in our plan, so we're not going to do this. And she's like, you know what? I'm really proud of you guys.
Yeah.
And, again, the things that she said, she risked losing her license for the things that she said because it was so against the grain. It wasn't what a doctor or a nurse would tell you. And, especially against the doctor's orders and stuff like that. So she really advocated.
That was a blessing.
That was God right there too, using that.
Because God knows like what could have happened to me, y'all. Right. Like I could have been done bled out or whatever. Like who knows? Like what could have happened to me? Like if I would have stayed there and been disobedient to the Lord, because the Lord knows. Like I'm the type of person that like I need like something to be thrown at me to understand like, all right, this is what the Lord wants. He knows how He made us all. So like He knows, He knows us. Right?
He knows what we need.
He knows what we need, right? To move forward and stuff like that. He knows us. So we end up leaving. And at this point, I'm like, babe, let's not tell anybody. Let's not call anybody.
But we had already told people that we
were having the baby.
Yeah,
so everybody is excited. They waiting to hear from us, that the baby's here or anything like that. So I'm just like, at this point, I'm so like, I'm upset, but I'm still content. I'm still happy because I still feel her kicking in me, and I know that she's good, she's healthy. So I'm just like, all right. Well, we end up calling.
So we go home and we just chilling, and I'm like, because my parents were reaching out like, yo, what's going on? I say, I text back and say, yo, man, I'm gonna call you in a second, but we're not doing this today.
Yeah.
I said everything is okay, nothing's wrong, but we just not doing this. So I call and I'm like, they're like, oh, what happened? So we tell them everything that just happened. The lights went off, the power was out, it was hot, all this stuff. They're like, if you don't feel comfortable, if you're not comfortable with doing it, don't do it. And I remember my aunt saying, there was just something, I just felt something in my spirit, where the Lord was just having me pray for you guys. I didn't know what it was, but here it is. It wasn't right for you guys to do this. So whatever. So the next day, because we let our family know it's not happening today. So my cousin Karina, she ends up calling, and she's, asks us how everything is going, what's going on with us. So we tell her everything that happened, and she's like, yeah, nah, that you definitely don't do that. So she's like, you know what? Let me check my schedule. So she goes and checks. She's like, yeah, I have an opening for tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. If you guys want to do that, I can bring you in and we can take care of you. And I'm looking at her. She's looking at me. I'm like, you good? And she's like, yeah, let's do it. I'm like, all right, cool. And she said it, and I knew she was comfortable. And that's the thing too. I know we read up, like, when you're giving birth, you have to be the most comfortable, because then your cervix won't open up if you're not comfortable, because it's that fight or flight, thing in you, where you have to be in a comfortable place, a comfortable mindset in order to really give birth, right? So at this point, she's comfortable with going. This is family. We know that she's.
And let's just be clear that it was also to be induced, because I still wasn't in labor. And so because the doctor had already told us all of these things, and my mind is like, all right, he said all of these things, let's just get her out. Let's just get it done with and have her out. So that's what we end up doing. We was like 5 a.m. She said 5 a.m. We scheduled everything, everything cleared up, and we ended up in New York.
Yeah.
At 5 a.m.
5 in the
almost 4. Well, we left like 4 something.
4:30 something.
And we were in New York at 5 a.m. And so we get in. Mind you, this was nothing that I had ever expected in a million years.
Who would?
Every time we prayed, we always prayed for a safe, healthy delivery.
Every day we prayed for
a safe delivery. That was always in our prayer, like to just deliver this baby, this healthy baby, safe, and exactly that's exactly what he did. So we end up at the hospital. Mind you, the hospital is very clean.
It was state of the art. It was brand new. They had just built it like the year before or something. Not even a year before. Beautiful
building.
Yeah.
And
it looked like a hotel. It didn't even look like a hospital.
And then we get upstairs. They walk us into this back room.
Yeah, taking us through everybody.
Like, it's like a freaking, hotel suite.
Yeah, it's on the door. It says presidential suite.
Right. Like, it's a huge, nice room. Window from wall to wall. Right.
It's a corner suite, so we could see the skyline. It wasn't even a Manhattan skyline. We looking in Queens and all over there.
But it was still beautiful, especially at nighttime. Like it was just beautiful. Yeah. Like it was just beautiful. And like the hospital that we was at, like he would have been sleeping on a little old cot.
Yeah.
He had like
a
sectional
that pulled out and all
right.
that.
It was this little sectional. The bed that I had dropped down. Like I could have been like with my knees up. It was just, everything was just amazing. And then not to mention all the natural things they were giving me to give birth, like to go into labor naturally. Like they gave me some pumps, right?
The balloon. That's what it was.
Oh no, I'm talking about like the breast pumps.
Oh yeah,
to help me naturally. Like they were trying to make me go into labor.
They were
naturally,
trying to accommodate everything that we wanted.
Versus, them going at me and like sticking me, but the suction, that didn't work because I started getting contractions, and dealing with contractions and holding the suction against my breast was not working. So we end up just like, give me the, what is it? Pitocin? Something. Pitocin.
There you go.
So I'm like, just give me the Pitocin. So they gave me the Pitocin. And like, 45 minutes later, my water broke.
Right.
It was like everything just happened so quick.
Your water broke because they gave you the balloon first.
Oh yeah.
It was like 10 minutes later your water breaks.
Right.
And so I'm like, damn, that was fast.
Right. I'm like, my water broke. It broke so freaking fast. Mm-hmm. The next thing you know, They come and check me. Mind you, at this point, I still don't have no epidural. I got to 6 centimeters without epidural, and anybody that knows pregnancies know that 6 centimeters is an accomplishment to get go without an epidural. But I couldn't handle that. Like, when I tell y'all that junk hurt, I thought I forgot how it felt, but I remember now. So all that tough stuff went out the door because it just hurt so bad. And so next thing you know, I was 6 centimeters, and she was like, because I'm like, I can't, give me the epidural. She was like, normally around this time is because you're really, really close. And when she checked me, she's like, you're really, really close. I'm like, I don't care how close I am, because all I could think about, if it feels like this, the moment she comes out and rip me open, because that's what I thought, that it's gonna hurt even more. But I did not get ripped. I did not tear. Like, everything was just perfect. I got like a little scratch. That's what she called it, like a little scratch. But everything just went so perfect.
She's a trooper. You know, she handled it like a champion, for real.
Yeah. And, it was good.
Yeah.
It was real good.
And it only took her like about 10, 15 minutes.
5 pushes.
Yeah.
10 minutes, 5 pushes, and she was out.
She was out. Boom.
We got our little precious little baby.
Looking just like her dad.
She is just so precious, y'all. Like, I'm just so excited that after 13 years I was able to, just become a mom again, to a little infant newborn baby. And
shout out to Warren Easy for being a great big brother.
Yeah, he is a great big brother. I'm just so happy and content. God is so good. So beyond, everything that, the miscarriage, at the end of the tunnel, there was a beautiful angel just waiting for us, a beautiful rainbow. And she's just amazing, guys.
Yeah.
Some of you have seen her.
Yeah, y'all probably seen her already, but,
yeah, she's just
but we're just so, we're blessed that we have her. We just have a beautiful family, and it's only God can do something like that.
Yeah, this is what I prayed for, man.
Yeah.
Like, if you guys go back to my previous videos, y'all know that, being a wife and being a mom again, and, even my business, like where my business stands right now, like everything that, I am living right now has been things that I truly prayed for, but not only just prayed for with my words in my mouth, but I showed God that, I believed him for it. Like, I believe in him. I believe that he is the God that he says he is. He's the God of Abraham, Isaac, Jacob. So, it was just something that we truly believed God for, and I'm just excited to see what he's gonna continue to do in the future, and yeah, babe, what you gotta say?
Yeah. No, I agree. I've been through some things, previously, but prior to being married, prior to even meeting Michel'le, and just knowing who God is, God gave me specific instructions to follow that, naturally speaking, would have seemed absolutely crazy. And I believe God for that. I trusted him. I knew that he told me to do this, and even though it sounded absolutely crazy, I'm like, what? I know that his ways and his thoughts are much higher than mine. So, and this is God. This is the God of the Bible. This is the God that made all things. And so, why not? Who am I to doubt him? Who am I to question what he tells me to do? So I just did that, and the result of that is having this family. Honestly, that's one of the many blessings that God has given me because of my obedience. And that's another thing that we want to stress, giving this testimony, is obedience. If we wasn't obedient to the Lord when he told us not to do it there, not to have the baby at the first hospital, who knows what would have happened, and that would have been our own doing, our own mistakes, because we decided to reason within ourselves instead of trusting him and trusting what he was trying to say to us and show us. So you always have to pray and ask God to have, eyes that see and ears that hear what he's saying and what he's showing. It's that in order to live a life of faith according to the word, you have to be obedient. You have to humble yourself. We don't know everything. In fact, it's safe to say we know nothing. We need to trust in what the Lord is telling us to do and be obedient, in order to be able to reap the benefits and the blessings that he has for us. And those aren't always the physical things. Those are, the spiritual things, the joy, the love, the peace, the patience, the kind, all those things, all the fruits of the Spirit. Those are the things, those are the blessings that God has for us. And when we are obedient, he'll give us the things that we desire, as long as it is according to his will. So, we're just so grateful to be able to share this with you guys. We really pray that this blesses you guys and that you're able to, if you don't know who the Lord is, that you want to get to know him, not for what he can give you, but just for who he is, simply because, you're able to listen to this. That means you're alive. You still have breath in your lungs. You still have purpose. God still has something that he can do through you if you would just allow yourself to be used. And, God has allowed for us to be used. He's given us this opportunity to speak to you and to just testify to who he is, And we're just grateful, and we're thankful that you guys have decided to listen this far along. We thank you guys, and we're just so blessed to be here and to share this blessing that is faith, and this blessing that is one as well. He is as much. He was a huge part of the whole pregnancy as well. And keeping us on our toes and keeping us happy and laughing and all those things. So
he cried.
Yeah,
he cried when we first told him what happened. He definitely was very sad. He asked. He had questions as to why this would happen to us. But I do remember, me giving him that encouragement, and him too, just like encouraging him that it's gonna be all right, hugging him and letting him know, because of course I think every child wants a little brother or a little sister, and a little sister is what he wanted a little sister. So I remember we bought a shirt from Amazon and we wrapped it up because it was Christmas. So it was one present that he wasn't able to open, and it was a shirt saying, "Finally, I'm a big brother." And we got that on video of him just opening that present. He would leave and come back and he'll just be like, "Mom, can I open the gift?" I'm like, "No, we wanted to be sure this time. We wanted to get the ultrasound. We wanted to reach 12 weeks before we let people know, but we definitely not let people know, but just let him know, because we wanted to protect him again, because he witnessed what had happened the first time." And so yeah, it was so cool just seeing him open that present and seeing that shirt of him being a big brother finally. So yeah, we just thank God for our little family, and we are just excited for what God is doing in this season and seasons to come. He's preparing us. He's helping us to mature and grow in our marriage. And we just made a year, and we got many years to go down the line. And we want to, encourage those out there that, seem hopeless and may seem, to not be able to make it to where they want to be in life. We want to let you know that we were once there. We felt that, our problems would never end. We felt like the people that were around us, our relationships were just going to continue to drain us. But, we found each other, and we're working towards,
And at the end of the day, too, us, going off of what you just said, we decided to just submit fully to the Lord and His plan, because there was a time where I'm like, you know what? I'm still single, so clearly what I thought or who I thought I wanted wasn't it,
Right.
So let me know what, Lord, I just want who you have for me, and that's the main thing, that's my advice to everyone is, if you feel like your life isn't what it should be or what you would want it to be, you need to give that to the Lord, and it'll exceed your expectations. Just completely submit to Him. Ask Him what it is that you want. What do you want from me, Lord? What do you want me to do? I just want to do what you want me to do. I want what you have for me, and you have to really, live a life in complete submission. That's how things change. That's truly how things change. All these things that you hear, do this to have a better life, or do this to attract your soulmate. It's all wrong. Right. It's all garbage. So throw it out.
God is the creator of love.
Right.
So if He's not in your relationship, then there's no love in your relationship, because He's the ultimate measurement of love was demonstrated by Christ, giving up His life for us. Like, if you don't believe that He loved us that much, then you can't even fathom the love that you can, the amount of love that you can give or receive. Right. So that is one thing and one step that you have to, come to identify. That's the beginning.
Yeah, but you have to be comfortable with everything that follows. You have to. It'll seem, unorthodox, but you have to know that, again, God's ways are higher than our ways. His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. So you have to throw yourself to the side and completely submit and do whatever the Lord tells you to do.
Because He says, for I know the plans that I have for you. Right. So He knows the plans. Like, you may see that, the picture looks like, what it is right in front of you. But in reality, I like how our teacher put kind of, she said it's like a puzzle. You have this big puzzle, but you don't have the picture. You just got to put the pieces together. And that's this walk of faith. Like, you don't know the big picture. Right. You just have all these little bit of pieces. And, somebody says, here, put this puzzle together. And how are you going to put this puzzle together when you don't even know what it's supposed to be? Right. But you take it piece by piece, day by day. And that is exactly what we have to do in this walk of faith. You don't know what the bigger picture is, but you know that there's a purpose behind it. You know that there is something that you have to strive for. And most importantly, that's keeping God first.
Yep. Amen. So I think, and then also, we giving her name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so we decided to name her Faith because...
Right. Because of everything.
Yeah,
we literally dealt with so much, with this process, but we still trusted God through the process. So yes, her name is Faith.
She's a testament to everything that we've been through and how faithful God was to us.
Yeah, God was faithful.
Every time I look at her, every time we look at her, and we're just reminded of what God has done, and how He's given her to us. And there's a scripture that I would, speak to her belly when she was still pregnant. It's Hebrews 11:6. Without faith, it's impossible to please Him. Meaning, it's impossible to please the Lord. You can't come to the God and not believing that He is a rewarder of those who diligently seek Him. You have to do that. And that's something that she's going to remember for her entire life. Without faith, it's impossible to please the Lord. So I think that's a word for everyone here as well. Without faith, it's impossible to please God.
Yep. Amen.
So we wrapping it up?
Yeah. Let's wrap it up.
So let's wrap it up.
Thanks, guys, for tuning in.
Yep.
And for those of you who may have question like, wait a minute, she was supposed to have her baby here this month. Why she ain't have her? Yeah. That is why we just didn't tell anybody. It was just something that we wanted to.
Even our families didn't even know.
Yeah. So we want to wanted everybody to know this is the reason. This is why. I've kind of been a little distant too. But yeah, we all go through and grow through, and I'm excited for what's next.
Yeah. That's right.
All right, guys.
We'll see y'all again on the next one.
Peace.
Yo.